Good evening. This is Carla Hartley. It is Tuesday night, June 9th, and I am coming to you with some news from Ventura County concerning the conditions of our court's continued phased reopening. We received an order that was published yesterday, and this order is from the Ventura Superior Court, is signed by the Honorable Presiding Judge, Kent Kelligrew. And the first thing I want to suggest here is this is not a joke. This is not a series of suggestions. The court is reopening, and it is doing so in a very cautious manner. They want to be very sure that they're protecting their staff, as well as ensuring that they're not doing anything to contribute to the spread of this virus among the population that comes into the courthouse. While they're balancing all of that, the court is also trying to ensure that they're meeting their statutory duty to resolve disputes within the community in a timely fashion. So with this balancing act, the court has made certain orders that are orders, not guidelines. Okay, so you're probably expecting this. It's a lot of the stuff that's consistent with what we've heard from Sacramento, from our governor, from our Ventura County public health people. And I think I'll get to it right now. Okay, so the first thing is, if you're going to be coming into the courthouse, you have to have a covering over your nose and mouth. This can be a mask, it can be a cloth covering of some sort. I think the order specifically stated or specifically mentioned, it can be a scarf, it can be a neck gaiter, it can be a variety of different things, but you must cover your nose and mouth. And you must keep your nose and mouth covered. If you don't have the appropriate facial covering, you're not going to be admitted to come into the courthouse. That's the starters. Now, this is not your local grocery store where you can, get through the door, give yourself a wink, and kind of pull your mask down or pretend you don't actually have to wear it. You are required to wear this in the courthouse. And there's a specific clause in this new order that states that if you remove your mask or not wearing it appropriately, once you are inside the courthouse or a courtroom, you're going to receive a warning. And if you refuse to put it back on, then you will be escorted from the premises. That's really going to not help your case at all. And I would suggest that's the last thing you want to do. So try to be in compliance while you're in there, and everything will go a lot more quickly. Now, if you're thinking that you're going to be in the courtroom and you're going to be sitting for hours, as has been the case in the past, no, that's not going to happen. The court is going to limit how many people are on calendar at a time so it can limit the flow of traffic through the courthouse. So the next thing is they're doing the 6-foot social distancing. You are ordered when you're there to maintain 6 feet of social distancing between you and anybody else. This does not include people from your family group, but I would suggest that you not take anybody to court that doesn't have to actually be in court. If they're not there to be a witness or to perform some function essential to your case, you probably should not have your family there. It's going to add to the burden of the court. It's going to make this more unwieldy. And then you're kind of going to be responsible for a couple of people that may or may not be complying with the orders. So have I said orders enough? Because these are not suggestions. These are orders. Now, the last provision that is really of note in this is that the court has ordered that you will also participate in good hygiene habits while you're in the courthouse. And that includes, or specifically tells you that you must, keep your hands clean, wash your hands, practice good hand hygiene. So I'm going to imagine they're wanting you to take advantage of the sanitizers that are probably going to be all over the place, the hand sanitizers. And then the court has also stated that if you're going to cough or sneeze, that you cover your nose and mouth, also preferably with a tissue or a cloth of some kind. Now, it seems odd to ask you to cover your mouth when your mouth and nose should already be covered, but this is probably because they're wanting to put that extra barrier between you and the air around you. So again, these are not couched as guidelines. This is not something that they're going to wink and look away from. We have a number of people in that courthouse who have health concerns or in an age group that make them particularly vulnerable to the lethality of this virus, and we want to protect them. I personally want to go back to work. I love being in court. I like being in court. I like going to court. I like coming back from court. I love appearing in front of my judges. I love argument. I love being with my clients at court. So my thing is, don't do anything to mess that up, okay? I don't want to see the court closed again because there's some failure to comply with this stuff. Now, the other enforcement, I've mentioned a couple of the enforcement methods that the court has available to it. The being escorted, if you're refusing to comply, being escorted from the premises by a deputy or a sheriff's department personnel, that is one option, and it is stated in the order. The other option is the court can just refuse to hear your case. The court can reschedule it, do a number of other things, but that's going to prolong your case and make you a very unhappy camper. And I would suggest that if you want the case prolonged and you act out in order to get the case prolonged, you are not going to be helping yourself by undertaking such an action, because I think the court will see right through that, and you're at risk of having what you want tossed out the window. And I'm sure the court will find a very legal way to do that, should that be the case. But keep in mind, you want to comply. The last thing, I think I've talked about everything on this order. I am excited. June 15th is our first day back in court on non-emergency matters. And it does appear that most matters we're going to be showing up on to kind of get a date, get time estimates, and see what's going to be coming next. I imagine just looking at the calendars for our courtrooms and family court that are on the 15th, we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of decisions handed down or evidentiary hearings or anything like that. I think the court's going to be playing catch up, and I trust that as Ventura County's Family Law Department has been a model for so much of the state over the past several years, that they will manage this in a manner that other counties will envy. I do have every confidence that that will be the case. You have a good evening, and I will talk to you again Thursday.